Hey everybody, it's me as always, your host Gambit896, and I'm back with another review video for you guys. Today I'll be reviewing Archer Armstrong, Volume 1, the Michelangelo Code. The series is written by Fred Van Lente, and with this first volume being illustrated by Clayton Henry. The series is published by Valiant, and this first trade collects the first 4 issues of the series. So the story starts out and we meet the first of our two title characters, Archer, who we find out is an 18-year-old guy who has been trained all his life by his adopted parents' cult and brought up to find and kill the immortal man known as Armstrong. Here we see from the first opening pages, here's Archer facing his final test to be given the mission to go out and find Armstrong and kill him. One thing I really like about this first story arc is the really neat little description boxes of all of the various different martial arts and fighting styles which Archer comes up against and is able to counter. This is because Archer has the ability to mimic any physical skill, which makes him a very accomplished fighter and a very good would-be assassin. And then, so Archer's given the mission to go out and find Armstrong in New York, which he does in a bar of all places, and we find out that Armstrong is not only an immortal but also a fun-loving, life-loving, booze-drinking, bar-brawling individual, which then leads to both Archer and Armstrong being captured after a brief fight scene between the two, which you can see from this page here. I have to say the fight scenes in this are really well done, and they almost look as if they are actually choreographed, which I think is a testament to Clayton Henry's artistic prowess, which I think the artwork in this by Clayton Henry is really good, and also the writing by Fred Van Lente is really solid. So we find out that everything that Archer has been brought up to believe about his adopted parents' cult and his mission, which has been to find and kill Armstrong, has all been a lie. So that leads to some pretty traumatic, well, not traumatic, but pretty shocking story revelations for the character of Archer. Again, here's another really cool example of one of the fight scenes with the really neat little description boxes. Hopefully you guys can see these. I'm not too sure if my camera can actually pick these up very well. So anyway, this leads to a team up between Archer and Armstrong to stop this mysterious seedy organization known as the Sect, which has been trying to kill Armstrong for the past 10,000 years from assembling this mysterious world-ending machine known as the Boon, which Armstrong has hidden all the parts for, so the Sect are trying to get their hands on them. This then leads the both of them to Rome, where we get some really cool little snippets of Armstrong's history, of his 10,000 years of life, and there's some really cool, really generally funny, laugh out loud dialogue exchanges between the characters, which I thought was really cool. We also meet the character of Tommy, who's a gun-toting, eye-patched nun, as you can see from this panel here, who's one of Armstrong's closest friends and confidants. And we find out that Armstrong actually knew the famous sculptor Michelangelo. So there's ties in this series to not only real-world people, but also real-world conspiracies as well, which I thought was really cool. And there's also some equally cool pop culture references in this later on as well. So this then leads to, like I said, a globe-trotting adventure for both Archer and Armstrong. I'll just show you an example of one of the really cool laugh out loud funny moments with Archer Armstrong trying to utilize Archer's fighting styles to their advantage, where he throws him at these sword wielding nuns but then inadvertently he says, oops, a little bit off the mark, which leads to Archer being thrown through a window, where Armstrong yells, "Sorry kid," which I thought was really, really funny. There's also some really funny scenes of Armstrong completely and totally wasted on good old-fashioned 17th and 19th century wine, which I thought was really, really funny. There's also, again, some really cool laugh out loud moments with Archer telling one of the characters that he meets up with in Rome, Armstrong may be a lout and a drunk and a blasphemer, which Armstrong yells, "Hey, I can still hear you just fine," because his eyes have just been shot with two arrows, so he can't exactly see. So, and then again, more really great laugh out loud, funny humor moments in the character interactions in the dialogue as well. Let me just turn over my notes here. Like I said, the fight scenes in this are really, really well done by Clayton Henry. Let me see if I can find you another example. Here we are, as you can see there. I'm not going to tell you too much more about the story, as like I said, this is just a really great, really fun, globe-trotting, action-packed adventure with a team-up between Archer and Armstrong. We have, like I said, ties to real-world history and conspiracies. There's, there's action, there's humor, there's great character interactions in the dialogue, and there's just some really, really cool plot twists at the end, which leads into the next story arc, which we have at the back of the this first trade. We have a advertisement for Archer and Armstrong Volume 2, which is the Wrath of the Eternal Warrior, which is again written by Fred Van Lente. On the artwork on the second volume, we will have Emanuela Lupacino. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. I do apologize if I'm not. It's EMANUELALUPACCHINO. Apparently this artist has done some work on X Factor, and this second volume will collect Archer and Armstrong issues 5 through 9. So I'm definitely really, really interested in seeing where the story goes. If you're a fan of Fred Van Lente's writing, or if you're looking for a really great, really fun series to get into, then I cannot recommend Archer and Armstrong enough. If I had to give this first volume a rating, I'd give it a very strong and very solid 5 out of 5. I really, really enjoyed it, and I highly recommend you guys check out Archer and Armstrong if you haven't already. And that about concludes this review video, guys. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. As always, feel free to leave a comment below. And if you're new, please feel free to subscribe. Sorry, got a bit of a bad throat. And until next time, this is Gambit896 signing off, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, guys.